All right, welcome back to a brand new week of Student of the Gun Radio. I am your host, Paul Markle. If you are prepared, good job. If you're not prepared, take a deep breath. Prepare your mind, prepare your body, and experience the wonders that is Student of the Gun Radio. Jared, I see him typing on his laptop. I can see him, and he see me.
I can see him.
You can see him?
Actually, I see you, and then I see you and I, because Zach made this cool little thing that is right here.
All right, Zach, are you there?
I was going to say something.
Yes, indeed I am, but let Jared say his thing, because I'm typing things.
Welcome to a new and improved SOTG Radio. This is a Monday show, so welcome to the new week. Good morning, and we are glad to have you. I guess it could be afternoon or evening or maybe the middle of the night, wherever you're listening from.
New week, new background, new episode. Everything's new. If you're not
watching, that coffee cup.
You're welcome.
You like that? It's good.
Coffee cup.
That coffee cup was for the video watching audience. If you're not watching this on video, Zachary, tell them how they could watch the video of us doing radio.
If you want to watch it live, you can check out our Student of the Gun, our Facebook and YouTube channels, which are both Student of the Gun. If you want to be a square and watch it when it comes out, which is also perfectly fine on the normal Monday, you can go to studentofthegun.com. You can go to where else does it go? Our smart TV apps, and that's where it goes on Monday. I was rocking this at the very beginning, and then I just started falling apart. But our smart TV apps like Roku, Amazon TV, Apple Fire, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, all that good stuff. You were throwing me off by talking. This is why I don't talk. And studentofthegun.com, you can watch the video where we do all this stuff with snazzy like video and backgrounds and special effects and stuff.
All right, I'm gonna do what professional DJs do. They say, shut your mouth and play the music.
Why didn't it work that time? It didn't work that time. We have a new setup and it's not working.
He didn't test the thing that he changed.
No, I did. I tested it 3 times. Why isn't it working now?
Make a note and fix it in post.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
All right. So here's what I want to remind you guys. Some of you have already done it. Chris Lady did it. And good job, Chris. You get a gold star. Take a gold star and put it on your forehead because Chris Lady shared the My First Gun article. Right now in the United States of America, there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, but at least tens of thousands, and perhaps hundreds of thousands of people who in the last 30 days have gone out and bought a gun for the first time in their lives. And we want to help those people, and we want to give them something, give them some information, some intelligence, some G2, right? And that is the My First Gun 5 simple steps to making your first gun purchase a success. It's available. If you open up your show notes today, and you can do that, whatever device you happen to have. You can just click it, open it. The show notes are there. Click on that and share it. And once again, thank you to Chris for doing that. Was it on the grad program that I yelled at him and said, quit being lazy and share the daggum? Yeah. Quit being lazy and just share it. It'll take you 30 seconds. Okay. So we did that and it's done. So good job. So we've got a SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. Because I haven't said it in a while. I haven't said this in a while, but if you want to be the Warrior of the Week, Jared, what is the best way? Remember, a question is not a manifesto. A question is one sentence with an inquiry, right? And then a possible second sentence for follow-up and clarification. So if you send, for instance, 3 paragraphs and you say, this is the word of the week question, 3 paragraphs is not a question. 3 paragraphs is a manifesto. It needs to be simple, and it needs to be, well, I mean, hopefully when we choose these, when we go in there and we're looking at them, we're looking and we're thinking, how could the most people in our Student of the Gun audience benefit from me answering this question?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing. So, I mean, if you're like really deep in the weeds, like I want to buy a 300 Blackout and put a 10-inch barrel with a suppressor and a yada, 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 which Hornady load should I use? That's, it's so specific.
Yeah, what we'll do with that question is take it and just talk about ammunition for precision rifles and make it a little bit more broad so we could answer that question, but also make it apply to other people as well.
Yeah, that's like, someone writing in and saying, I live in Provo, Utah. Where can I go to get my concealed carry permit? I could probably give you that answer, but the fact of the matter is somebody who's listening in Oklahoma or Texas is not going to care about that. So this one actually came in via the mail. Now, you can call in, and we have calls quite often. Jared, tell them if they would like to call in and leave a War of the Week question, how can they do that?
Super easy. Call 844-207-7684. Ask a clear and concise question. And then if we choose you, send your information, which is your name, mailing address, phone number, and email to info@studentofthegun.com.
All right. And if you are the winner, you will get a complimentary bottle of 9mm plus P from SWAT Fuel. SWAT Fuel has some things. You guys ran them out of a bunch of stuff here recently during the Great Panic. Everyone panic bought, which is good for them because it means it's sales. But I just checked their website, and it looks like they have 40 caliber multivitamins, which are very important, and the energy formula. You guys, what I find interesting is that you guys ran them out of the fat burner. Don't you find that interesting, Jared? So people apparently are like, hey, I guess if we're going to stay home, we need to use the fat burner and but they've got the vitamins in stock. They have the energy formula, the endurance formula, the plus B in stock. And if you go there, use the promo code SOTG, and you're going to save some money. All right. So, Jared, go ahead and read the question.
The question is from...
Sorry. We didn't do the ding-ding.
The ding-ding.
We didn't do the music.
Oh, the word of the week. Zach, you're up, buddy.
Word of the week
Are you ready this time?
Gotta do that. Yeah.
It should work.
Okay, it works.
Should.
Look at that.
I missed that guy. That could push 165 pounds over his head. I hope that guy comes back soon. All right, so Warrior of the Week question. Jared, what is it? What's it all about?
The Warrior of the Week question is from LaRue, and it says, all weapons would wear some kind of RDS with backup sights. She is cross-eyed dominant, so we're trying to find one that works best for that situation. I have no clue what the context of that question is. There is no question there.
Essentially, gentlemen, this LaRue, I don't know if that's a handle or if it's a first name or whatever, because there's LaRue Tactical.
I'm assuming that there were other questions asked, but they didn't get put into the notes.
Yeah. Okay. This is the last part of a very long, lengthy question. And the reason, and he's talking about a gun for his wife, and his wife is cross-dominant, and we're looking for a sight that works best for that situation.
Okay, there we go.
Cross-dominant people have a hard time with rifles. With pistols, it's easy, because if you're right-handed and you're left-eye dominant, it's no big deal. You just push the gun out, cant it a little bit, put the front sight in front of your left eye, and drive on. That's no big deal. But when it comes to rifles, it's extremely hard to do that, especially if you're using iron sights. If you're using iron sights and you're a right-handed shooter and your dominant eye is left-handed, you can't lift your head up and stick it over the top of the stock because, A, you'll break your neck and you'll look like you're TikTok. So what do you have to do? Well, number one, my advice for dominant eye dominance, and this is advice that I learned and applied for many years. I'm going on 20-some years now. You realize it's been 20 years since we started going to 4-H shooting sports camp? Jared,
Wow.
you realize that?
Wow, yeah, that means it's been.
Yeah.
Wow.
The first camp
Holy
we went
cow.
to was the summer of 2000. So this summer would be 20-year anniversary.
Did you go
of going
before
and
I
teaching.
went, or did we both go together for the first year?
No, you went with me the first year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you had went. Maybe you went to like an instructor weekend or something
Well, I went to several instructor training weekends.
before you went for the first year.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I mean,
probably what it was then.
because In
Yeah.
order to be an instructor, you have to go through the instructor training program.
Yeah.
And because I was an instructor, you were allowed to come a year early. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to come until the next year.
Right.
Yeah. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about eye dominance. One of the things that when you're, especially new shooters, brand new shooters, is you want to determine their eye dominance, because human beings they have a dominant eye. You have two eyes. One of them is going to be dominant. And generally, it's the same hand. If you're right-handed, you right eye dominant, generally, but not always. And there are many situations where someone can be left-handed, right eye dominant, right-handed, left eye dominant, what have you. For instance, my daughter. My daughter is that way. She is left-handed. She's naturally left-handed, but she is right eye dominant. So when she engages in shooting sports activities, whether it's with a handgun or a rifle, a shotgun, or even with a bow, she shoots right-handed. Even though she eats with her left hand and she writes with her left hand and all that stuff, because it's way easier to teach someone to shoot with their dominant eye side than it is to try and correct or change or alter an eye dominance, because your eye dominance is not something that you consciously decided to do. I've used this analogy for a long time, and it works. I could set a pencil on the table and I could say to you, pick up that pencil with your left hand. And you reach out with your left hand, pick up the pencil. And I say, all right, set it down, pick up that pencil with your right hand. And you could do it. Great, no problem. Now, what I can't do is I can't look at you and say, be right eye dominant. All right, now be left eye dominant. You can't change that. You don't have any physical control over that. Now, you can do weird stuff. There's all kinds of things like these, glasses that have one lens is blurred out and the other one isn't, or you could put a patch over your one eye, and that's how if you watch these like real deep in the woods competition shooters, bullseye shooters, they'll have glasses on and they'll have like a shield over their one eye, which forces their other eye to focus and all that stuff, right? But in a normal situation, especially in a defensive situation, you're not going to have the time to do that. And you're like, oh no, just blink, cross your eye or blink or close one eye. That's it's number one, it's difficult to do all the time. And number two, that's not natural. Human beings, when they're looking at a threat, don't want to close one of their eyes and close the other one. So how do we deal with that? How do we deal with cross dominance for shooters? Well, like I said, number one, if it's a pistol, it's easy. You just punch the pistol out, can it slightly. You put the front sight in front of your dominant eye, and you drive on. Now, with a rifle, you can do one of two things. You can, if you're using iron sights or standard sights, or you can shoot from your dominant eye side, whatever that happens to be. You're like, yeah, but that's not what handed I am. I don't care. Learn to shoot from your dominant eye side. Now, when it comes to optics, there is a cheat, and that cheat is the holographic weapon sight, also known as an EOTech. You're like, I wrote an article online at blackriflefarts.com that said that EOTechs are the devil and I should never own them or buy them. Okay, whatever. The fact of the matter is the projected holograph or the holographic weapon sight is genius when it comes to human vision. It was designed to work with human vision. Okay, and are Tom or Carissa listening right now on the the chatter box or whatever that thing is.
Discord,
Zach?
and
sure-
yeah, Tom is
yeah.
in here right now.
Okay. This is a recommendation that I made to Tom. He goes, Carissa's having focus visions or vision focus problems with her red dot. What can I do? And I said, get her an EOTech. And he wrote me like a month later and he said, wow, yeah, did that. Fixed problem. Good to go. Amazing, right? I actually had the opportunity to train someone, a woman who was active duty Navy, whose job was what they called an essential critical job, and even under normal circumstances she would have been released and taken off of active duty because she had vision problems.
Released into the wild.
What's that?
Released into the wild.
Released into the wild. They would have just like taken off her leash and sent her out into the field and said,
Yeah.
go live with the rabbits. But instead, her job was mission critical, so they gave her a waiver. She got a physical waiver, but she had horrible vision problems, and she was her trying to use iron sights was almost impossible. When she was using iron sights, she was experiencing double vision. She was seeing two of everything. And so what I did is, thanks to the beauty of the M4, you can just take that carrying handle off, throw it on the ground, and put an optic on it. And that's what I did. I put an EOTech on it, zeroed it, and had her shoot, and it fixed it. It fixed her problem. She qualified day and night with the rifle with an EOTech on there. And the trick with the EOTech is you keep both eyes open. Don't try and wink or squint or whatever. If you're having a situation where someone's having cross-dominant issues or depth issues or perception issues or whatever, it can't fix everything, but it fixes a lot of things. So if you're looking for a recommendation for a red dot or an optic that can help someone that either has cross vision problems or vision depth problems or whatever, or focus problems, the closest to perfect that you're going to get in that situation is what they call a holographic weapon sight. That's what HWS stands for. If you ever pick up an EOTech and on the box it says HWS, HWS stands for holographic weapon sight. What that sight is actually doing is it's projecting a hologram from the base up onto the view screen. And the cool thing about the EOTech is once it's zeroed, it doesn't matter where your eye perceives the reticle to be in the plane, in the view screen. It could be in the corner or up or above or what. You don't have to worry. It's not like standard sights where it has to be lined up perfectly. As long as the weapon has been mechanically zeroed properly with the EOTech, it doesn't matter where your eye perceives it to be in the view window, you'll hit the target.
Pew 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 pew.
And you can even do it from where, Jared? From
Upside down. You can do it from anywhere.
Well, where was the? Where
From the helicopter.
Yes.
Yeah, from moving in a helicopter. That's just something that I learned on that trip that I would have never thought about before, is when you're moving so fast forward, you're moving faster than the target. You actually have to lag the target. With like trap and skeet and whatnot and sporting clays, you have to lead the target because the target's moving faster and you're standing still. But when you're in a helicopter or a vehicle of some sort moving faster than the target, you have to lag the target. And it was really weird to have that experience for the first time because you literally have to aim like probably 6 to 12 feet behind the thing.
No, not that many.
No, it was pretty far because if you in real life, in real time, when you're looking up close, it was probably 6 to 12 feet. In the reticle, it's obviously not that much because you just use the little dot on the EOTech. What's that?
The hashtags, the tags on the side.
Yeah. So you use those on
West.
Yep. You go ahead.
No, if you guys don't know what an EOTech reticle looks like, the standard, the 65-1, the reason it's called 65-1 is because the dot is a 1 MOA and the circle 65 MOA. That means at 100 yards at 65 inches. What Jared's saying is the great thing about the EOTech is you can use those little hashtags, the north, south, east, west, not hashtags, the tick marks. There you go, the tick marks. You can use the tick marks to lag. And when we were in a helicopter and we're moving, the helicopter is actually going faster than the hog was running.
Yeah.
So if you lead it, like normally, if you were in a hunting blind and the animal took off running, you would lead it. You'd put the reticle in front of its nose, press the trigger, and hit it in the body, and you're good to go. If you do that with a hog or from a helicopter, you're hitting 10, 12 feet in front of it. So what you had to do is just put the tick mark on its butt and shoot, and you say that's counterintuitive, but it works. But forget about the lead lag thing. The reason that we know that the EOTech works is because when you're in a situation like that, when we were in a helicopter, we had these great big aviation cans on our head, and when you've got those big thick aviation headsets, you can't get a perfect cheek weld,
right,
like you normally do. Normally, you want to get that really good cheek weld where you lay your cheek on the stock and you're looking down the sights and you're like, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I was taught when I went to ranger school or whatever, sniper school. You can't do that with the great big headsets on. So what we had to do was actually put the stock underneath our chin and just look over, and there actually was a riser on the EOTech, and even though you couldn't get a perfect sight picture and a perfect cheek weld and all that, we were killing, from a helicopter that was moving. So if you're looking, so LaRue, the answer to your story, and I know this is a long story short, but the answer is you can indeed fix vision issues with an EOTech. And I don't care what gunsandfarts.org said about EOTechs 5 years ago. Fornicate those people. All right, moving on. You guys have some administrative stuff to talk about? Is that administrative notes that you just dropped in below the topic?
Oh, no, that's just like that's something that we need to talk about on the air. That's just me making a note in the actual thing. So it's time to say thanks to our top contributors. Jared.
Oh, okay. I thought that you were going to, I was like, I wonder why he's going to talk about that. But okay.
Oh, no, that's just
top contributors to the Student of the Gun public group. Thank you guys for taking the time and the effort to do what you're doing. Number 10 is Dale Blankenship. 9, Adam Montgomery. 8 is Jason Wilson. 7, Harry Galinsky. 6 is Derek Babcock. 5 is Arturo Serran. 4, Melissa Ridings. 3, Daniel Larson. 2, Alan Blake. And 1 is Trent Wood. Derek's down to number 6, though. Now, that's crazy.
I've been busy. He's been doing other stuff. He didn't have time to talk all the time.
I guess so, yeah. Well, thank you guys for putting the time and the effort into putting stuff into the public group. And the admins are doing a great job. And I want to take a moment to thank them as well, because they take care of the public group for us. And it's very nice of them to do that.
All right. We need fresh reviews. Yes. We need fresh reviews on iTunes and iHeartRadio and Pocket Caster and Intune and TuneIn and Spotify, wherever you're listening. I don't know where you're listening. You could listen with, one of a dozen, 100, I don't know how many podcast apps are out there. Many. We need fresh reviews.
Many.
Exactly what Commandant Lassard said. Many. So whatever you're listening to us on right now, if it's iHeart or iTunes or Pocket Cast or blah, 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 whatever, Podcast Republic, take the time and opportunity, especially if you never have, and leave a review of the show. We need some fresh reviews to kind of regenerate. You guys know how algorithms work. You know how recommended listening works and all that jazz. You probably went to iTunes or your favorite whatever, and you looked up blank. And then they suggested to you. They're like, whoa, if you like that show, then you certainly might like this one and this one and this one. It's just like Amazon. Oh, you like that book? Here's 5 other books that you might like. And how does that happen, and why does that happen? Why does an algorithm push certain things? Number one, it does it based on number of reviews, and it based on recency of reviews. If there haven't been any reviews in a while, the algorithm thinks, okay, this product is dead, or it's inactive, or it's not working, so I'm not going to promote it. So we need you guys to, if you want to keep this show running, and I think you do, go leave a review. All right. And I expect when I check later on this week that there are going to be new reviews in there, freaks. All right. Who are we going to thank? 2468. Who do we appreciate? Century.
I was going to say,
Century.
Yeah, I was going to say our partners, but that's good.
Go partners. Yep. Century Arms, the sweetest mill arms maker in the U.S. of A. How many guns do they have left? I don't know, because people have been buying them up. I can only imagine the volume, the number of Canik pistols that got scooped up in the last 3 to 4 weeks. Probably many, many. But if you can find one, if you can find a Canik, you know where you can find these, Jared? Not at your local gun stores, but on all these online retailers.
Yeah.
You see, that's the secret.
Yep.
All the new gun buyers don't know to go to like Palmetto State Armory or Primary Arms or Brownells.com. They don't know to go there. You know, they Google search local gun shop, and then they drive there and they say, "I have money, give me a gun." And depending on where they are, they say, "Okay, come back next week." But I want it today. Sorry.
I seriously hope this is a wake-up call.
Yeah, or they say, well, okay, cool, show me your FOID card. And they're like, what? Yeah, show me your FOID card. Well, I don't have one. Well, guess you don't get a gun. Bye. Well, I'll go down to the courthouse or whatever, and I'll get one. And then they go there, and they're like, oh, we're not processing those. It's an emergency.
You're right. That's why I need this gun, because it's an emergency.
No, we're not giving out any permission slips because there's an emergency, so no more permission slips, because that's not essential. We've decided that giving out gun permission slips is no longer essential, so...
Oh, sorry. If it's not essential, then why do we do it in the first place?
Yeah, isn't everyone's job essential? If you do a job and they pay you and you take that money and you pay your rent or your mortgage and you buy food and you feed your kids and you pay the electric bill and the gas bill, isn't that essential? Is it essential for you to be able to pay your rent and your gas bill and your electric bill? Is that essential?
That's why the banks are being forced to give loans that are probably never going to be paid back.
Oh, let me tell you what. We're going
I just pulled the pin. There you go.
Yeah.
Boop, drop.
So, but back to Canik pistols. And here, this is what I know because I subscribe. I'll admit it. I've subscribed to probably a half a dozen, at least, of these online retailers. Brownells is number one, obviously, and then I'm subscribed to Midway and PSA and Primary Arms and Classic Firearms and ammo2go.com and all these things, right? So I frequently, just about every day I get an email and it'll say, blah, 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 this is on sale. Well, yesterday I got an email and it said, Canik Firearms, Canik pistols in stock on sale. So if you can't find a gun or you wanted a blank gun or whatever, and your local guy's like, sorry, dude, don't have them. My distributor said it's going to be 6 weeks. You say, okay, well, thanks, I appreciate it. And then go online, and I bet you one of those places will have it. So that is a good place to go. CenturyArms.com. All right, what are we doing with Duracoat, Jared? We're doing a little something special, and it's getting warm outside.
Yep.
I know a lot of you guys are reporting that you're getting spring temperatures. So what's it time for?
It's time for the Duracoat Badass Challenge, because it's a project that you can do at your home. And where's everybody at right now? They're at their home doing stuff from home. And it's funny because a lot of my friends have gotten a lot more. I've seen a lot of my friends getting a lot of their house stuff done. And life hasn't really changed much for us. This is what we've done pretty much the entire time since we went digital. So I kind of envy the ability to spend time on projects, but I also am very, very glad that I still have the opportunity to be here talking directly to you guys. But the Duracoat Badass Challenge, it's simple. You go to studentofthegun.com and you can go to the partner news section, and there's a article that gives you all of the details about the Badass Challenge. Or you can just open up the notes of whatever platform you're listening to this on, then open up the notes of episode 942, click on the link that is for the Duracoat Badass Challenge, and all of the details will be there for you.
Oh. Yes, and you can Duracoat your Canic or your whatever. I mean, you're allowed. I Duracoated my SA. You know what is out of stock at Duracoat?
What's that?
At Brownells.
What's
the
that?
The TP9 Special Forces 9mm is currently out of stock.
Oh.
Yeah. They somehow, okay, SF stands for Striker Fired. All right. It does not stand for Special Forces.
It does too.
It does too, damn it. Somehow somebody wrote some sales copy somewhere and it got into the internet and it grew.
It infected the internet.
And the internet got infected, and so now people are referring to, and of course I'm sure the guys at Canic are like, whatever. Sure, if you want to call it the Special Forces pistol, as long as the manufacturer doesn't try to claim that Special Forces actually uses and carries their guns, because if they do, they'll get busted. People will be like, "You're a liar! I don't do that." And they're like, "Oh no, we never said that." But somebody on the internet determined. It's kind of like AR stands for assault rifle. No, it doesn't, idiot. It stands for Armalite rifle. But yeah. I went to brownells.com and the TP9 SF Special Forces 9mm is currently sold out. Sorry. Try again later. Crossbreed Holsters wants you to be dangerous on demand. How can you be dangerous on demand? You can be dangerous on demand by actually carrying your gun. You're like, attaching it to my body and having it with me all the time? Yeah. That's a crazy concept. Go to crossbreedholsters.com and use the promo code SOTG18. And when you do that, you're going to save some money.
My ARC bag is going to be here probably today, hopefully.
Yours is going to be there, your ARC bag?
Yep, as we record this.
Oh,
today.
And speaking of bags, that's a great segue, Jared, that you didn't mean to do.
What?
Speaking of bags, we've got a new collection of awesome products on our store, shop.sotg.com, for you to fill your go bag with.
Oh.
Speaking of ARC bags.
The ARC bag is not a go bag.
I know, but you just said the word bag and it made me think about it. Isn't that right,
There
Dad?
you go.
We need to put that in the notes for people. So
Yeah,
all
it'll be in
these
the notes,
links
of
that we're
course.
talking about, the Duracoat Badass Challenge, the information on calling the word of the week line, all that stuff, the shop SOTG for the bags, it'll be in the show notes for episode 942.
Yeah, basically, if there's anything we talk about extensively or extendedly, it will be in the notes for you to look at. So, because we love you. And yeah, we've got a new collection on shop.sotg.com that's full of all kinds of great products you can use to fill your go bag. And also, we have a messenger bag that you can use as your go bag. Isn't that just nice of us?
We're trying to figure out logistics on how to send one roll of toilet paper with every single order.
I mean, there's no logistics. Just stick it in the box.
You're just going to squish it.
Yeah. All right,
The cardboard tube is not going to be intact, okay?
Yeah, but the paper itself will be totally usable.
That's right. That's right.
You know what toilet paper is good for?
Absolutely nothing.
Starting fires.
Good point.
That's right.
And so is Tinder, which you
Or you
can
could soak it
you
in
can buy
water
yourself
and
a
throw it.
Tinder scraper on shop.sotg.com in the Fill Your Go Bag collection.
Woo!
And now that I've gotten that in, I will allow you guys to continue.
Actually, I just went to brownells.com and we want to support them, obviously, and we're going to talk about other stuff on Wednesday because we have a Brownells bullet points. But they have something that they just launched, and I just noticed it today, and it's called a WWSD. And, of course, in our modern vernacular, we know that WW stands for
Worldwide?
what would.
Oh.
What would.
Did you hear what Zach said?
Well, what did he say?
He said worldwide. www.
No,
Zach is a TikTok.com. Yeah, so what does SD stand for? We know that WW is what would. What's SD stand for?
We know that WW is
Okay, what would is, and SD stands for stoner.
Yep.
What would stoner do? And so what they've got is they have a special feature on their website called WWSD 2020. What would stoner do? and it's a collaboration between Brownells, InRange, and KE Arms, and they have a whole bunch of products that are highlighted. So you want to check this out. Actually, you know what it is. It's a what is old is new again kind of a thing.
Right.
And it's pretty cool. Go to brownells.com and check out their WWSD 2000 section and see if maybe that's something you're interested in, especially if you're going to do a gun build. Because right now, and hey, the fact of the matter is, if you're at home and you're hanging out, you've got time to build a gun. So you might want to go there and figure out what kind of gun and what parts and pieces and components you want to put on that. So check those guys out at brownells.com. All right, we got the Badass Challenge link for you guys. Fill your go bag. Now it's time for, especially if you're a new person, to close your mouth, open your ears, and listen a little bit louder.
Can I say something real quick before you play this thing, Zach? I just want to let you know that the fill your go bag stuff, Zach was nice enough. Zach runs all the store stuff, and so we essentially didn't really have that much to do with it, Dad and I. And Zach was nice enough to not inflate prices. They're all about what their normal prices. They're what they would have been before, even though demand is so much higher than it used to be. So just thank you, Zach, for doing that.
Well, and in fact, some of the things are actually on sale.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, man.
You are welcome. All right. Because I'm not cheap like that.
Attention new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
All right. Main topic of today. Zach, put up the clock for me. Let me see the clock. Let me know where we are.
Figure out how to do that from here.
Just tell them how much there is.
We have 37 minutes and 33 seconds in. Wow.
We're 37 minutes in. All right, gotcha. Prepared people don't panic. Now, I know that's a lot of peas for you to consume, but prepared people don't panic. And we're talking about levels of preparedness. Now, this is something that we've been focusing on for, several years now, numerous years. Matter of fact, I wrote the article about being prepared, the bronze, silver, gold plan before there was a Student of the Gun, when it was just paulmarkle.com blog. And essentially, you start out with the basics, and then you build from there. I think that's a lot of the reason that people get frustrated or they just give up before they begin. Is because they encounter they'll go to a prepper website or they'll go to a YouTube website where somebody's like, okay, and they're like, you need to have, and you need to have a generator, and you need to have a 1,000-gallon water filtration system, and you need to have $5,000 worth of solar panels, and you need to have this and this and this and this and this, and somebody who's starting with zero is just like, wow. I don't even know where to start, and that's so much I'm just not going to start. And that's not the way to be. Everybody needs to start somewhere as far as preparedness. Now, unfortunately, we've lost a step. We've lost several steps here in the United States of America, where we used to prepare our children by teaching them and giving them basic fundamental skills so that they could build upon those as they grew and became adults. We used to teach children how to, when I was a kid, right, they didn't teach gardening in school, but one of the things we did in elementary school is every kid planted a plant. Every kid grew a plant, right? We used to have the little, what were they, 6 ounce or 8 ounce, 6 or 8 ounce milk cartons, the 1 pint milk cartons, right? Everybody had them. We had hundreds and thousands of them, right? So what did you do? You're in elementary school, you're in 3rd or 4th grade or whatever, and everybody gets a little milk carton, and you take your little scissors and you cut the top off. And, if the teacher is feeling froggy, they might pass out construction paper or glue or whatever, and you make your own little planter. And then, of course, the teacher would go, they would stop at the home supply store and they would buy a, 10, 20-pound bag of potting soil, and they would fill them all, and you'd get seeds and you'd put your name on them, right? And you'd plant a plant, whether it was a flower or whatever, and everybody, we'd put them on the windowsill in the classroom, wherever in your third or fourth grade classroom. Everybody had their name on it. And one of the things that they would tell you is that you needed to make sure that every day when you came in that you watered your plant. What? You expect 9-year-olds to have the responsibility to water their plants? You're a monster. Yeah. And so, if you weren't, a knucklehead, and after a few weeks, what did you have? You had a little plant, and then after, another week or two, it would grow. And I don't even remember what we grew. It might have been marigolds, and I don't know. I'm sure it was something really simple. But what you could do, and what we demonstrated, and what we taught kids, was the basic fundamentals of how and why plants grow. They need soil, they need moisture, they need sunlight, right? And when they're young, you need to make it happen, right? You need to make it happen. So, and that was just a little tiny thing, but it doesn't have to be major. You don't need to do an entire botany class with 9-year-olds, because number one, it's way over their heads anyway, but they get it. And then you build upon that. And that was something that all right, I got a question. How many of you guys out there in the audience have kids who have actually done that? That very super simple, basic thing of taking a seed, putting it in a milk carton flower pot, and growing it into a plant, and watering it and taking care of it and watching it grow. Do we even do that anymore? Or is that boring because it's not digital and there's no app for it, or it doesn't require Wi-Fi, so we don't care anymore? Seriously. Things that we used to do to prepare our kids that we don't do anymore. Or we've just assumed that because the information is available on the internet that they'll know it. I think many parents in America, many adults, are guilty of just assuming. They're like, well, anything and everything you ever wanted to know is on the internet, so everybody knows it, right? Jared, all right, you're a millennial, and Zach, you're a Gen Z, right? Is that correct?
Gen Z for Zach.
Yeah, Gen Z for Zach, and Jared, you're in the millennial crowd. Do you find that because there's an internet that everybody in your generation is extremely well-versed and educated?
No, definitely not. It is actually kind of the opposite of that.
Yeah,
back before the internet, when we just had physical written books, people tended to be more intelligent. And I don't know if it's because there was less things to distract yourself with, so they actually spent the time to read, or why we've evolved or devolved, or whatever you want to call it, into distracted little puppies. It's an interesting conversation to have, to try to figure out why this is happening. And, because the information is there. It's on the internet. You can get it. You can teach yourself. Well, you can learn from others, but the information is there for you to be able to self-improve and seek out more information by yourself without the help of anybody else. You can sit in your room, have no outside physical contact with anybody, and you can still get the information that you need.
Yeah, you can still learn and practice a skill.
But we don't see that as being something that is done often. In fact, we actually kind of find outliers in people that are proponents of self-improvement. And I would say the Student of the Gun audience is an audience of people that like self-improvement. And a lot of the times we feel like outsiders because it's hard to find other people like us. And with the advent of the internet and the information superhighway, I guess is what they deemed it back before I was paying attention. With the advent of that, why is that? Why do we feel more alone than we should? because because of the fact that we are proponents of self-preparedness and self-improvement. I don't know. Why is that?
Yeah, so what levels are we at right now? And when I say prepared people, I'm not just talking about stuff. Y2K, 9/11,
Exactly.
the Obama scare, all that. It caused people to buy stuff, right? And what did we just see? 4 weeks ago, and still to a certain extent, but I don't think the panic buying is going on now as much as it was 4 weeks ago. So we saw people running out to buy stuff, right? They bought guns and they bought ammo. How many of those people who bought guns and bought ammo could hit a 1 inch, or not 1 inch, a 1 foot, pie plate at 5 yards? Probably a small percentage, right? How many of them even know how to put the ammunition in safely? We watched the Burt Kreischer special, the most recent Burt Kreischer special. What I see, these panic gun buyers, these people who flocked into gun stores in California and Massachusetts and New York and everywhere, and all of a sudden they didn't care. They didn't, guns were just things that other people had, or those crazy redneck people or whatever. And then as soon as it came home to them, as soon as the crisis affected them personally, now it was an emergency and they had to get a gun. Jared, you remember we watched the Burt Kreischer special together, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's how I imagine his take on firearms is how I imagine 95% of all these panic gun buyers, how they view guns. How did he refer to a magazine? Oh, he said the sleeve that holds the bullets.
Yeah.
I lost it. I don't even know where it is anymore.
Yeah.
He goes, I tried to put them in there and it hurt my thumb, so I stopped. So I don't even know where the sleeve that holds the bullets is, but I have a flashlight on it. And if you guys haven't watched it yet,
when he was talking about that, I thought he was, because he did that right after he talked about hurting his thumb. I thought he was talking about the little thing that you put over the magazine to actually help you load the bullets.
Yeah. To load the loading tools that come with a lot of guns today.
Yeah.
No. When he said the sleeve that holds the bullets, I was like, oh, he means a magazine.
I'm gonna have to watch it again. There's a lot of funny stuff there.
He goes, but I got a flashlight on it, and I go out in the backyard and use my gun as a flashlight. And sadly, I see that is probably where we're at with most of these inner city. I just bought a gun for the first time people. I had money and I bought a gun and now I own one. Being prepared is not just about owning stuff. Now you need to own food. You need to own water. You need to own things that will keep you warm and safe and healthy. I mean, I get that. But that owning stuff doesn't give you the correct mindset. Okay.
Do you know something? This is on mindset related. Mindset cannot be taken from you. Things can be taken. Your mind and your brain and the way you think and the things you do cannot be taken from you. It's impossible unless your life is gone.
Oh, or think about when I was in, I was in 7th grade or 8th grade. I can't remember which one it was, 7th or 8th grade, but junior high. We had the American Red Cross instructors come in, and we all went in the gymnasium, and they brought out Recessa Annie, and that was back when Recessa Annie actually had a blue jumpsuit and legs. That's how old I am. I am so old that I remember when Recessa Annie had a blue tracksuit with red trim and legs. Yes, and her breath smelled like isopropyl alcohol. So, did you get that joke? Because back before AIDS, everybody used the same dummy, and just between people, you took an alcohol wipe and you wiped off her face.
Yep.
And that was it. Now, if you try to do that now, people would lose their minds. They're like, everyone's going to die and everyone's going to get AIDS, and what are you doing? Or COVID. But we learned a skill. We didn't buy any gear. Like when you left the CPR Heimlich class, the only thing that went in your pocket was a little cardboard card, and it wasn't even laminated. It was a little piece of cardstock that said American Red Cross, and it had your name typed on it with a typewriter, or maybe the instructor just took a pencil or a pen and wrote it neatly, and it had a date. I love that they put expiration dates on training. Like, on this date, 365 days from today, you will become a TikTok. You will become an artard. You will no longer know what to do. You will know what to do up to that date. But after that, you are expired. Your brain is expired. Do people's brains expire? Maybe they do. When oxygen stops coming in. I've always found that funny. That they're like, well, are you CPR certified? No, my card expired. Oh, your card expired. So let's say that you learn CPR and your card is good for 365 days, and 369 days after you got your card, someone like falls down in front of you and is having a heart attack or a breathing emergency. And you're like, sorry, man, I can't help you. My card has expired. I would help you, but the American Red Cross said my certification's expired. Now I can't help you. Is that how it works? But my point with the CPR and the Heimlich maneuver is we didn't take stuff with us when we left the class. We took information and skill with us when we left the class. And that helped us to be prepared individuals. If you've ever been in an emergency situation or a crisis, a car crash, a medical emergency or whatever, the people that respond the best and behave the most appropriately are those who are prepared, and they've been prepared not by purchasing things, but by getting training and education and experience. Imagine that. Your levels of preparedness begin with training. Your levels of preparedness begin with education. If you're out there and you're thinking, well, I know I should be, or it should be more, or I should be doing more, but I don't even know where to start, or I don't know what to get, or, do you know how to figure all that stuff out? You figure that stuff out based upon your what? Training, experience, and education.
Okay.
If you have training, experience, and education, you'll know what stuff is good stuff to buy. You'll know which things you should have on you all the time. Those are the people who function the best in emergencies. Prepared people don't panic. And the more preparedness you have, and when I say preparedness, everybody's going to think, oh, he just wants me to go out and buy stuff. No, that's not it. I don't want you to just go out and fill your garage with stuff. Jared, you remember our good friend Shane?
Yeah. I actually just talked to him the other day.
And he had the quintessential story of a person who thought being prepared meant buying stuff.
Yep.
You remember that? He had a friend who he's like, oh, man, I bought this survivalist backpack. And he's like, well, what's in it? Well, I'm not really sure. Well, what do you mean? Well, I know it's got a lot of stuff in it because on the website it said you have to have blah, 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 blah. And so I bought it and they shipped it to me and it's full of stuff. But the dude, all of the stuff was still in the original manufacturer's packaging.
Right.
He didn't know what to do with it. He just owned it, right? He had it. He possessed it. And so his level of preparedness was going to preparetosurvive.com.org/UK and buying a $269 pack because he read the sales pitch and it said, oh, it's filled with 197 items of essential survival gear. And he's like, oh, that's great. And he bought it, put it in his closet, and he had it. How does that prepare you to deal with an emergency? How does that prepare you to deal with a crisis? It's great that he had it. I'm not saying that it was wrong for him to have a backpack full of stuff. But here's the thing, guys. If you have a backpack full of stuff and all that stuff is still in the original manufacturer's packaging, you never even taken it out and looked at it, you are not prepared. You just own a bunch of toys. Okay. The thing that prepared people are the best at is that they're independently minded and they're independent, liberty-minded type people. They're not panicking and praying and screaming for someone else to save them. Prepared people, independent individuals, are hard to control because they don't need to be controlled. And what we're seeing right now is a huge divide, and it's become very obvious to anyone who's paying attention. Those who live in the United States of America that are screaming to be controlled, who are so ill-prepared. They were so ill-prepared for this situation that their only recourse is to scream and beg for the government to save them. Never mind that history has shown us that the government cannot and does a terrible job at individual, they can't save you as an individual. They don't have the capacity, they don't have the ability, and they really don't have the desire to save you as an individual. Now, they can secure the borders of the country, which is what they're supposed to do. They can create infrastructure, bridges and water treatment facilities and roads and train tracks and all that stuff. Well, that's private industry. But still, when it comes down to you as an individual, the government cannot and will not ever be able to take care of you as an individual. They have no desire to, and they have no ability to. And yet we still see people screaming and begging. I mean, Jared, your mom, she tracks that Nextdoor website for Sugar House.
The people are crazy.
And there are people in Sugar House, Salt Lake City, circulating a petition begging the governor to enforce mandatory, basically martial law, stay at home.
You know what's interesting to me is the people that are on Nextdoor are essentially, what I've noticed is that they're retired or they're young, and all they do is stay at home all day anyway. There's not very many productive people on there. Yeah. But what I was going to say is, actually, on the way here this morning, Scott Hambrick called me and we were talking, and I was talking about the whole situation that we're in now. Is I was driving down the road and it said, there was a sign that had previously said, hey, stay home, stay safe. It's the governor's directive, whatever. And then today there was a sign that said 51 deaths on the road, on Utah roads in 2020. I said, well, that's actually about 6 times higher than any of the corona deaths that we've had here in Utah. Literally, it's 6 times higher. So why aren't people freaking out? Why are we not being forced to stay home and not drive because there's 51 deaths on the road? The same exact sign that says stay safe, stay home, governor's directive because coronavirus, admitted that there's 6 times more people dying from car crashes, which is super interesting to me.
Yeah.
And but him and I were talking about people being okay. So what I'm seeing right now is we have citizens, we have constituents, and we have slaves. There's people that look to the governor of the city or the county or the state to solve their problems, and then we also have constituents, which are the people that are actually productive and they vote and they can take care of themselves and they're not looking for somebody else to do it for them. And what I really hope that's going to happen is people are going to, because this whole staying at home thing right now is kind of novel. It's new for people and they like it because they've had to go to work and they hate their jobs anyway. But now they get to stay home with their family. And so it's been new and they like it and they appreciate it. I hope what's going to happen is that after being home for 3-4 weeks, they're going to start realizing, hey, this is bullshit. Sorry, Zach. Go ahead and bleep that. This is bull crap. And I don't want to do this anymore, but I'm being forced to do it. Because right now what it is our governor isn't forcing anybody to do anything, but the county and the Salt Lake City mayors are, or they gave legal precedent. They're not forcing anybody to do anything. And so people they're okay with it right now because it doesn't affect them. They're fine with staying home. But what I'm seeing is people are starting to get stir crazy. So I'm wondering, and I'm hoping that people will realize, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and what we're going to do on Wednesday, the title of Wednesday's story is called The Awakening. And we're going to take what we talked about today and we're going to elaborate and actually go further on this. Wow. We're going to talk about something. Essentially, we're going to look for the silver lining in this black storm cloud. And believe me, there's going to be a lot of fallout. You know, the banks thing that you just talked about. Who was it? I can't even remember which administration it was. I think it might have been the Clinton administration, but they set up the financial collapse of 2008 by the government forcing banks to give loans to people who they knew could not pay them back. And so then when the loans came due, the billions of dollars worth of loans, people just all defaulted, and it caused this huge housing crisis in the housing and the lending industry, because you can't just float billions of dollars in loans and then have it not come back. That's not economics. It doesn't work like that. You can't continue to run on basically an empty account or write checks on an empty account, which is what they were doing.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about more on Wednesday, and the title of the show Wednesday is it's called The Awakening. And we're going to, like I said, try and come up with a silver lining of this black cloud. For now, though, we're going to put a cap on this one. You guys have been with us long enough today. Thank you very much for joining us. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to consider, a lot to digest. And I want to remind you something. You're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.